All right, guys. We're here with another episode of Walking Buckets 360. Shout out to Platt's Landscaping. Shout out Emily Interiors. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. My two sponsors. Big, huge interview for me tonight. Damar couldn't be here. He might jump on after. He was tied up with some personal things. He'll be back maybe tonight or catch him later. He's going to do his work in progress with Georgia Rivera later on. So he will be effective today. I know that, and he would love to be here if he could for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Rodney Lartey-Otoo. I mean, the circle of connection here is fantastic. Rodney, welcome to the show.
Hey, man. Mike, man, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. Congratulations on your success, man. It's real cool to especially have something that really kind of ties everything together, especially in the 508 area with sports. So kudos to you and Damar, man, for holding it down.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And this gets deep, guys, because, I mean, maybe the connection, I'm a colonel.
Yep.
We're unapologetically
representing South always. I got you.
But I did have my stint at Holy Name. Now, I had two. I went there twice and was asked to leave twice. I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool with it. Right? My parents wanted me to go there. I wanted to go to South with my friends. So whatever.
Of course.
It all worked out, and none of it was bad for me in the end. Because I think it was 96. That's when you graduated?
94.
94. You were in my original run. You were super nice to me, man. Not a lot of those kids are nice to me, but I always remember you were super nice to me. And a lot of you Holy Name older dudes were, kind of messed up to the freshmen. You were never like that. So thank you.
Listen, man, I always feel that I'm old school, man. Like my parents say, treat people how you want to be treated. And I always looked at it that way, man. I come from humble beginnings, man.
I love it, man. And you can tell.
If people only knew, I come from very humble beginnings, man.
I love it.
Shout out to my mom and dad, very old school Ghanaians. They didn't play,
I come from that school. You can tell, man. We got our demeanor's the same. Now, you guys can't see, if you don't know, Rodney, he's about 7'5". So you can't tell right now.
Man.
So I'm just saying. But also, Rodney was a part of the Dynasty, the Holy Name Dynasty. If you guys seen the graphic in the beginning of the show, Rodney was on that squad. He watched my man Diego. And what were those? Reminisce a little bit for me.
Man, listen. So
what was your best game? Because I already heard about them. We already know about Diego. What was your best game ever in your Holy Name career?
In my Holy Name career, I'll be honest, probably my junior year. I ended up having to start either the second or third game of the season. Usually I came off the bench, but I actually had to start. And we played against South, at South. And I was asked that I needed to play. And that was the year with Jermaine Johnson and Seth Norte. And let's just say Seth Norte was a big dude. And, he's basically family because my parents knew his parents years. And let's just say I was very much on the thin side in high school.
Yeah.
So trying to box him out was like trying to box out a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Very strong. But what was kind of cool about that, because like I said, me and Seth knew each other since we were young. And he actually had a conversation with me before the game. And he was just like, hey, play with confidence. Do the things that you've always done. And that was kind of cool of him because he didn't have to do that before a game, but he did.
Yeah.
And that was probably my best game because we played him better. The first game, he really did work on us in the beginning of the season, but we did a better job boxing him out, pushing him off the box and things such as the nature. We actually ended up winning that game. That game was always memorable to me. It wasn't like I scored a lot of points. I think I scored 4 or 6 points, but the work I had to do, the box out, the rebounding, playing defense, those are the little things. I mean, people always think you got to score 50 or 60 points to make the difference of the game, but you got to do the little things. There's somebody that's going to have to get down and dirty. I'll be catching an elbow in the chest, and things of that nature. But take a charge and things such of that nature. But but that was a memorable. Yeah, even the years even when we had to run my senior year with Diego, Brian Therian, all those guys. That was a fun year too. I mean, it was tough on me because my role, Kareem Tatum, all those other guys, because my role was changed, my senior year, and too many mistakes come off the bench, and I ended up not playing that much. But
yeah, I mean that was a tough squad to break. I mean, they were
yeah,
loaded.
it was. You know what? And I looked at it this way. It was tough. That was probably the toughest time I've ever had to play basketball was that year, just because I was so used to being in the mix, and I wasn't caring if I was a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. It wasn't about that, but I just wanted to contribute, and my contribution had to change from playing in the game to, hey, you're gonna have to put in work and practice regardless if you're gonna play or not. Get these guys ready, and to change that mindset, because that could either harm or hurt me. Because I almost thought about quitting that year that we went to the States. But the reason why I didn't quit, because I remember when JP came my freshman year, and what he wanted to create, and an atmosphere, and being part of a family, team oriented. Like, it was so. Let me tell you, I don't know if Diego got into this a little bit, but those practices were the most intense practices I've ever been a part of. There were fights, there were elbows, there were swearing, and to almost come to blows with your teammates during those practices. But that's how much of a challenge it was during practices. I mean, it made you happy to play games. Like, you were like, oh, we don't have to run these crazy sprints today. Yeah, we get to play a regular game and not have to worry about that and things such of that nature. But it was so much fun, man. I enjoy it. It's good to see the guys, seeing Kareem flourish, seeing Diego flourish, seeing BT flourish. All the guys on that team, man, they're doing something positive and doing something great. So, it's such great memories, man. It's always been a blast to even think about that era, because everybody I talk to always say, man, I remember going to you guys' games and having to go to the JB game first because there was no seats.
Right,
and
right.
That atmosphere and the fans and even the community, it was so cool. Like, with North doing their thing, and Doherty was good at that time, Burncoat was good at that time, St. John's obviously was dominant at the time too. So it was just a great era of basketball during the 90s.
A way different era. And I don't know, the very first podcast that I did, the idea was to kind of go, I don't know if you've seen it, I had Diego, BT came on, Rashad, and them, and I'm thinking rivalry, and those guys are on a totally different path, like story-wise, than I was. I didn't even realize that. It wasn't a rivalry, really. You know what I mean? Right. Like, those things come out. That's what I love. That's what this podcast is for.
It was cool too. Like, even during that time, we were all cool with each other, man. Like, we used to play with each other during the summer times up where in Auburn, where the skating rink is. And I mean, the Sunday nights, it was a great run because everybody was mixing with each other. It wasn't like just North High guys playing against Holy Name guys playing against Burco guys. It was like we all mixed in with each other because it made everybody better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
That was when people were playing ball on a regular basis outside. Now you go to these spots, you don't see anybody playing during the summertime. It's crazy sad how much difference basketball is now. I know I feel like an old guy saying that, back in my days in the 90s, we used to play until, the lights came on. Like, but it's just, different times.
Real different times. Like, that was something to do.
Yes.
I head out to Auburn, there's going to be a full court there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It was the thing. I think it was Sundays. Sundays was the big day.
Oh, yeah.
That everybody used to be out there.
It just doesn't seem, I don't know. I'm not out there, I guess. I don't think it happens anymore, but I know I am.
I've driven by there a couple times and I don't see it.
That's a whole nother
I don't play as much as I used to anymore. I don't play anymore.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. One move, it could be tragic, man.
Oh, one move and I'm subbing myself out, medic,
Awesome,
but no, it's such a great time, and it's weird too when I do games up there. Obviously, it's now St. Paul, and it's like bizarre world because a lot of the stuff that we had up there, whole name, such as all the trophies, the banners, it's gone.
So the entire place is beige.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all beige.
It's
I'm
a,
like, it's a giant prison gym.
it's like the
I
New
like,
Orleans Saints colors now. So it's a little bit of an adjustment, man. Actually, it's a lot of an adjustment, but you know, things happen beyond our control. It is what it is, but no way in heck can people, take away those memories, man. Those are great times during those years, man.
oh my God, unreal. And we're gonna get Kareem said he'll come on.
All right, cool.
I would love to have all you guys on, man. I know Eddie Brown. I don't know where he's been, but Shell,
Yeah.
wherever he's at, he can come through. So I talked to Kareem, and here we go. I'm telling you, the story's been validated, right?
All right.
This is my trophy from the friendly house,
Oh, for the house, man.
1989, right? The
Wow.
only basketball championship I ever won. Kareem Tatum, half-court shot at the buzzer over Eddie Brown.
Oh,
He's
Eddie
going to
Brown.
come on. He's going to come on and validate it. Now,
Man.
I won't give you my stat line from that game, but I'll just tell
hear
you,
man.
I got the hardware, so.
And you got that for
Validated,
proof for the rest of your life right there, man.
I'm validated, man. So there it is. So, dude, I mean, we got to start going through your accolades here. You just got named the announcer for the Worcester Bravehearts.
Yeah, that was cool. So, I mean, I subbed in last year for a couple games, and I was very blessed. And I worked with Donnie Picaro Sr. before with the Mass Pirates.
Okay.
And Donnie is a very talented young man, a fellow Holy Name Napoleon as well. And it was real. Once I got to do a couple games over there, it just felt like family. And it was so much fun doing the games over there. And it was just a very light atmosphere. It just felt right. So he reached out to me and said, hey, there might be a possibility. We would like to see if you would be interested in doing PA. And I was like, hey, I'm all over it. I'm all about it. I love doing it. It's been one of the most, I would say the easiest, the best side job that I've ever had in my natural born life.
Awesome.
I get paid to say names and watch sports. I mean, that's a great life, man.
Look at we're trying. I feel that dream. I feel it.
Yeah, it's cool. Like that came about, and then especially with the recent thing about doing the Ivy League
yeah, I was gonna say Harvard
championships. So that was real cool to get that word and have that opportunity, man. It's been crazy. When I first started, what's crazy was I remember when they started to finally do the Ivy League championships not too long ago. And I was like, yeah, that would be cool to do one day. And I literally remember that. I just said that in my head one time. And obviously, with luck and luckily a person I worked at, Brown, who ended up now working at Harvard, actually reached out to me in November and was like, hey, would you be interested in doing some games? I'm like, absolutely, man. Harvard? Why? Yes. And slowly one thing led to another, asked if I was available to do some games, if I can. And then all of a sudden, this opportunity came about. And I was just like, absolutely, I would be honored. And I'm absolutely giddy about it because I'm excited about it. The atmosphere is going to be great. I think fans will be back by then as well. So it's going to be cool. But it's been a blessing, man, getting into this, man. I'm telling you, who would ever thought? The guy that really wanted to be a sports broadcaster, and that dream died real quick.
Well, you never know, man. You never know. You never know. The path that has no, you can't tell where it's going to go. You're on the right one.
Right. So that's weird. Like the whole thing, like how I got started, which is kind of funny. It's actually, Diego was actually the first place I did do games for. Like we did pay it forward, PIF, pay it forward basketball. We actually used Holy Names Jam. And I was like, that would be cool. Like I saw there was a mic there and I was like, it'd be cool if I could announce games. And then me and Diego were talking about it. So I started announcing games for the little kids, and the little kids would get excited and it created a little bit of a different atmosphere. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Was that
and then just before Sting kind of got developed. And then Manzi one day asked me to fill in to do half of football because the original person was leaving for halftime because he had an event to go. And I was like, well, I'd never done it before for football, but I'll give it a try.
Oh,
And so I
yeah.
always remembered like how, when I got to do games at UMass and stuff like that, and like how the announcer was, and I've watched sports enough. So I said, all right, let me give my little flair. And Mr. Olson, I'm sure you remember Mr. Olson.
Absolutely. I have my
and
spot
Mr.
in his
Olson,
office, man.
yeah.
Like I said, they asked me to leave twice, man. I did.
At least he showed you love before. No,
Absolutely, man. There's zero hate in my body for that.
I hear you, man. No, but so Mr. Olson was there in the booth, and the Nest. Remember I don't know if you remember the whole name, the football and the Nest.
Yep.
So he was listening to me go, and he was just like, "Hey, man, I think we got a new announcer." And I was like, "Oh, that'll be cool." So then, after doing the football season, this was probably 10 years ago. So after doing the football season, Manzi asked, "Hey, would you be interested in doing basketball for the boys and girls?" So I was like, "Yeah." So slowly but surely, that started this, love about announcing games, and I was just like, I think I found my niche because I was in a tough place because I remember I really wanted to get into sports broadcasting, doing announcing games, but I'll admit, like when I had the opportunities in college, I didn't push it as much as I should have, and taking the opportunities to do more.
Yep.
And so it was kind of funny that, well, it keeps me still a part of the game. I might not be the play-by-play, but I'm still a part of the game in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And then opportunities started coming after that, but I really had to push to get myself out there because it's one of those jobs like once you're in, unless they really want to make a change. So
Yep.
I had to make an outreach to a lot of colleges. I outreached to New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, a good amount of Mass. And I was willing to drive an hour plus if needed to do games because I was like, I want to do it. I would like to have that opportunity. So, luckily some schools reached out. Holy Cross was one of the main ones that I really got started in doing the games for. And now I think I'm in my year 6 over there. Worcester State.
Men's and women's, or are you doing just men's?
Well, Worcester State, I do a couple of different sports over there.
Okay.
For Holy Cross, I do a couple of sports there, depending upon their availability they need. Mainly for me, there is football, sometimes soccer, sometimes men's or women's lacrosse, depending because we have a couple of people that we shout out to Matt Bartel, my man over there.
All right.
Another fellow announcer there. He's been doing about 5 years. Yeah.
Right. Holy name, right?
No, he's not a holy name, but man, he's become a great friend because it's cool, like having another guy that announces. So like sometimes I'll be cool to ask him about a question. Hey, how do you think if you announce this and things like that? But he's been a great friend to me. He's been a pal for years, and now the opportunities for me decided to open up with now Worcester State doing football and men's and women's basketball. Gotten to fill in a couple times for Brown. Got fill in a couple times for UMass Lowell, and it's been cool, man. It was kind of tough, obviously, with 2020 with COVID, because I know Holy Cross was the only one that's really doing sports. I know Westboro was. Also, I do a couple high schools with Westboro and St. Paul, and things such as that nature. So it was a tough time. So I told myself, once 2021 came back, I want to be as busy as possible.
Yes.
And it has become a blessing, man, that I become that busy. Sometimes I know I need to slow down.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I come home after working my regular job, then going straight to a game, then coming home, and I'm done. But just being a part of the game in some way, shape, or form, even though I'm not playing anymore, this is just as good, man. Like to call the game when Holy Cross beat Sacred Heart with like under seconds ago in a playoff FCS game. That was one of the coolest moments ever, man. That was that atmosphere, the crowd, cold as heck. But just you say, I was a part of that, I witnessed that, I get to call that,
That's awesome.
It's really cool. And for me, having this opportunity to do a conference championship, Like I got to do a conference championship game for Worcester State a couple of years ago for women's basketball at Worcester State. But now to have a chance to do a D1, like Ivy League, like it's just amazing, like the opportunities that have been given me. Yet I'm trying to always stay humble. I still do high school games when I can because that's where it began for me. I thank Mr. Manziel for giving me that opportunity and other people that have given me an opportunity. So those people that give me the opportunity, I try to always make sure if I can do a game or games that I'm available, I try to go back.
Awesome.
That's where it started.
Yep, awesome, man. I love it. I seen Mr. Manzello when South was up there playing them.
Yeah.
Man, he just don't change. Always been a good dude.
He don't age. I told him, I'm like, what deal did you make with somebody, man, to not age? Because he still looks the same when I had him as a teacher back in '91, which is crazy.
Good dude. Good dude for sure.
So, yeah, man.
Awesome. I didn't realize that was the path, man.
That was the path, man.
There's no
the path that you never thought.
There's no ceiling.
It was weird though because I never expected like to be doing this on the side at all. And I remember Mr. Burke, actually, who's the music teacher over there, who's my second father up at Holy Name.
Yeah.
He mentioned it because he knew that it was kind of it was a tough time, depressed. I wasn't doing the work that I wanted to do, and he was like, hey, I know you really want to get into sports management, but why don't you think about doing the games up here? And I was like, yeah. And it was funny, like years later that I'm up there. And then obviously from doing those and having more opportunities, it's just funny. You never know what doors are available until they're shown to you at the, maybe it took the right time for me to go to do that game. Maybe it took that opportunity where the person had to leave at halftime for me to get that chance to show that I can do it. And still be doing it now, so.
Look at Celtics games, man. I can see it already. I can see it happening.
I wouldn't mind doing it, but I'll be honest though with you. I love college sports, man. There is something about college sports, the atmosphere, the fun, the excitement that I prefer more.
I get it. I get it 1,000,000%. The end of my last podcast, actually on the radio today, the end of my conversation said anybody can talk about the NFL or the NBA, but that's kind of why I'm getting into the high school the way it is.
Right.
I'm telling you, man, Diego's bringing a different atmosphere. I knew it from the beginning because I knew kind of the background that he's had these girls, their entire careers, so something special was going to pop. And, they are special. These girls.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? He runs, and he knows it. I think he does know it, but he runs the practices just like JP used to.
Now, we talked about that in the beginning on that other podcast. I did ask him, who's in, and, Diego's he's a strong-minded dude. Like, he will not come off his path. He's focused on what he believes. And the way I was going to say this, a little bit ago. I think the way you judge a good coach is what your players become beyond the game. Like all you guys are like pillars of the community that came from JP's team. Well, obviously that dude, I'm legendary coach, obviously. You know what I mean? But you got Diego, he's picking up the community, man. I mean, he's helping the youth he has now for over a decade. You got Brian Darian, head of the boys club. I think he's on his second one.
Lynn, I believe in Lynn. Yep.
Kareem Tatum, principal, East Middle. I mean, the list goes on, but Coach Bob LaRose for South doing the same thing, man. He's making sure, that they're going to be men, good human beings, contributors. It's what it is. Diego's that dude. Like he's making sure, and they're running over people, and that's what the issue is. The margin of score, but there's no weak link. His whole entire team is good. He's been most proud of their grades of their GPAs and all that, and
because that's the biggest thing. I mean, you could teach ball all you want, but at the end of the day, Are they doing good in school? Are they being good around the community? Are they doing to give back to the community? Those things are really important because, basketball don't last forever.
And,
You know what I mean? But character
right,
does.
right.
And people don't realize that. Character does. And character shows a lot, how you are outside of basketball and things such as that nature. Because they know all eyes are on them right now because of their success.
Yeah.
So the big thing is obviously to be grounded, but know that you guys have a chance to do something special. And
it's gonna be.
And they do have a chance to do something special this year. And I think his program is gonna, flourish, and more girls probably would go over there. We don't know. He's trying to build a strong foundation. And I think that's what I remember with JP who took over. That's what he wanted. I remember his meeting, man. He was very stern about it. Like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is the type of vision I have with this program. You guys are going to be the most in shape team ever. Cause I'm telling you, the running that we used to do in those practices, man, we would do sprints before practice started. Oh, well, during practice, excuse me. The first 10 minutes was sprints. That's all we did. And the last 10, 15 minutes was sprints. And now think about how intense those practices were. Then you add that on top. Man.
Oh, my God.
You want to talk about just absolutely feeling like what after those practices. But then again, when we went to those games, you felt so conditioned, like, okay, I can hang with these guys. And that was the mentality he wanted us to get, like be mentally and physically strong, man. I mean, yeah. I still remember like it was yesterday, like during those years. It was so much fun though. Ups and downs during that first couple of years, but when it got it together, man, it was fun to be around.
Competitive wise, in the heat of the Holy Name Dynasty, what was the greatest game you were ever involved in, just overall?
Oh man, I would easily say the district game when we beat North was one of the coolest moments. Actually, I even take that back. I'll say double. I'll say two things. It was beating St. John's at St. John's, because we don't want to say no names. I remember I was saying with Brian Therian.
That was great.
And one of the players from St. John's was like, yeah, we got a first round bye because we're in first place. And I remember that. And I remember Brian Therian, I'll never forget this day. Brian Therian turned to me and said, we're going to beat those guys.
I know
serious. This was after we beat Wachusett at home, because we had a winning game. People don't remember that. We had a winning game against Wachusett at home to see who was going to be the 8th seed. So we were the 8th seed playing against the Dynasty Wachusett. And then winning that game, you had to go at St. John's. So you want to talk about a gamut, like right off the bat,
right?
Going against St. John's, beating St. John's, which was one of the craziest games ever. Then playing, what was that team? Was it Marlboro? I can't remember if it was Marlboro. I think it was Marlboro. I can't remember. I can't remember who we played in that other game. But it was a tough team too. They had like the 6'7", 6'8" kid that was just a monster. I think he ended up playing at Salem State. I forgot the team. And then having to play North for the district championship, which winning that game, because nobody saw us winning it. I remember, because even JP said in the beginning of the year, there was no articles, nothing talked about about Holy Name. He actually put the article in our locker room. And he said, you see Holy Name listed on here? That's how much nobody really thought of us at that time. And, it was Diego's first full year over there playing with the team. So nobody knew how we were going to be, but it was just great to be a part of that, to go to the state finals, lose against a great team in New Bedford, who had some great players over there, Marcus Wills especially. He was just an athlete and a half. He's still doing his thing with the basketball money and training and things such as that nature. So shout out to Marcus Wells. He's doing this thing too as well. It's crazy. Like the thing about the team that was not even thought of in the beginning of the season to all of a sudden now being the talk of the town. So
Unreal.
And North, let's keep it real. North had a squad, man. You
Yeah.
had Damian Austin, you had Rashad Minor, you had Jamal Langford, you had Jay Price, you had
Joey
Joey
Nickerson.
Nickerson, man. I mean, let's face it, man. I'll say it. I have no problem saying that was the best top 5 in the state that year. Like, I thought in the area.
I wish basketball was like that still, man. Around here, I mean, it seems like it's gotten a little bit better, but I mean, those days were peak, man. Mike Bradley right after those times.
Yeah, Mike Bradley, Dave Bradley, the Twin Towers, I called them back in the days. They had Will Mosley, McNamara on that team. Was it Rosario?
I remember.
Yeah.
Danny Diaz too, or no, Cintron. Carlos Cintron was there too.
Oh, Carlos Cintron, yeah. But it was a fun era because you had all these schools that had all these good players, man, on the same team, and just made for a more competitive, game. It's just a different era now with transferring and things such as that nature. It's just a different sport, but it's still fun to see, like, locally. It's been tough this year with fans, no fans, and going back and forth with that. So, you don't get a really chance to see a lot of the teams that you would like to see right now.
Yeah.
Until that, hopefully soon we'll be back to fans again.
I'm going to say North Eye is on fire again this year. That they're
Listen, Joe Okla has been playing real well this year, man. And you can tell, like, he was starting to get it. And now this year he's getting it. And he's playing phenomenal basketball for him. And I remember him starting at Holy Name, and I was sad to see him go, but I'm very thrilled for him for the things he's doing over there. And North High is a team to be reckoned with right now, especially at the high or around the area. So
he's the human highlight reel, and I got to give a shout out to my guy Hoop Central 508, man. Check it out on Instagram. It's I think he's involved with the North Hoops team. He's getting highlights that are incredible. So shout out to him, man, because it's been awesome to watch. So hopefully North runs it, man. I want to see a power team. I want to see somebody go.
Well, it would just be cool to see a team, like, locally,
right?
Get to that level. You know what I mean? And it's been years to see, like, a local team get to that state level. I can't remember the last. I think, like, Worcester team was. I don't know if it was Maine South girls with Sam Aguirre and Aretha Sullivan.
Probably.
I think it was the last, like, Worcester team to make it to states. They were in the state semifinals. I forgot what year it was, but that was the very last time anything in Worcester. And I'd love to see more teams in Worcester because there's been so many talented Worcester teams here, man. It's just
we got one this year. I'll tell you that, man. Grace O'Gara is ridiculous. I don't know if you've gotten to see anything.
I've seen her. I've gotten it. It's funny. I did a game, but she had a tough shooting game. But then she rattled with making some layups. But when she's on, man, it's fun to watch.
The clip I posted,
that run. I saw that run, the 12-0 run that she did herself. I just laughed. I'm like, that's Grace. When she gets going, it's scary.
It's out
her
of
and
control
Tamir are
now.
a good 1-2 punch.
I was oh my God, Tamir is ridiculous. I was telling Diego, it's like Diego and Kareem, carbon copy. You know what I'm saying? That entire team can shoot, man. And the other day I went early and watched practice before the shoot around. Now Diego was put on a show. I posted his clip the other day. It's phenomenal. He don't miss anymore. He still doesn't.
And it's funny. He doesn't play as much, but it is kind of funny that he can play. He cannot play for months, and then all of a sudden, one day he'll just shoot around and he doesn't miss, and it's just like, man, you don't really play that much anymore. How the heck are you stuck in? But
he was legit putting on a show the other day, but it was kind of I put a clip together with him. He loves it. But that entire team can shoot. All of them. They're all like, look at. I think. I don't know. They shot 80% one game, 67 another.
Yeah.
Like, these are numbers that boys don't, the men's don't put up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They had a tough. You know what's weird? Like, they played Wachusett. They probably had the worst half. You saw it. They probably had the worst half. But when they started their run in the third quarter, that's when everything started to click. And I think once they get it now, you know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
they've seen how that top team is, because Wachusett every year is Wachusett. I call Wachusett the woman of, like, they're the women's version of St. John's. You know what I mean?
Basically, yeah. Notre
They
Dame.
always
Notre
have a
Dame.
consistently good team every single year. I know Notre Dame is on the up and up. Coach Annunziata is doing a great job. Shout out to
Yep.
her too as well, because she got them playing well. Avery Mazzo is a great player over there as well.
Yeah, Mazzo. There's another girl too up there doing really well. Barnes, is that her last name? I think.
Barnes.
Something.
I could be wrong though, but looking at, like, the stats on a regular basis, because I'm still a sports nerd. So
yeah, I hear you. February 12th, Notre Dame versus South. It's gonna be a
that's
big
gonna
game.
be a good one.
Saturday, 11 a.m.
Oh, Saturday 11? Is it 11 a.m.?
11 a.m. on a Saturday. Now, look at this schedule. I had the old school one. I now have the updated
See,
one.
that's what's throwing me off, because I'm looking at this schedule and I'm like,
yeah,
I'll give him a call and see if he needs me to come through, because I might be available for that game to help to announce. So I'll talk to him.
That would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. I don't know if they're on. I think they'll beat them.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. I'm telling you, it's a good challenge to see, hey, to play. You know what's so funny? You have to play against great teams to see where you're at. And right. I think you need that challenge. If you get that challenge, I'm telling you, you learn a lot about your team. And I'm sure he'll tell you that. You learn a lot about a team when you play against good teams, and to see where you're at.
Let's touch on the controversy. The controversy is that people were complaining because of the scores. Mm-hmm. Now, when you have a shooting team the way they do, you can't slow down. You're not going to miss a shot on purpose. I mean, right. He's done so much as he's running the clock out now for etiquette, but I don't even necessarily agree with it.
See, it's tough, man, because let's be real, man. Sports in this area of politics too. It's always has been the case and always will be. I did talk to them about that. I'm like, yeah, eyes are going to be on you. And now with the success, they're going to tell you, hey, you got to slow down. You got to, not try to score as much, have to do 5 or 7 or 10 passes before you shoot the ball, things like that. But, that's always going to be the case. And they know it. He knows it. But just, you always have to be mindful of it. As much as I know, hey, it's not our job to stop us. It's your job to stop us. But the reality is people see it differently. And
they do.
That's what the thing is about it around the area. And that's what he knows he's going to have to deal with,
Yeah.
And I know that's tough to hear, to tell your team, hey, you got to, scale back and, things such as the nature. But it is part of it.
The only reason I hate it is because I was always the 11th man off the bench, man. I want to go in and score. I want to go in and show that I want to start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You want to get your shine. You work so hard in practice. You want to get that, that bucket.
You know what I'm saying?
Hit that 3-pointer to get that in there. To get in that score section.
It's crazy, dude. But you got Jazzy Santiago. She's like 4'3", and she's dropping threes. How do you tell that kid not to do that? At the end of the game,
she's just gonna get better. You know what I mean? She's a spark plug, man. She's just gonna get better and better and better. And I'm looking forward to see where she grows. And I know she's only a freshman, but
she's gonna be a big deal.
3 more years after this year, it's gonna be interesting to see like what she develops in as a player, and she learns from a good baller herself.
She looks like Iverson. She does. Yeah. She looks like she don't lose the ball. She's in control the whole time. She can shoot the lights out. And
she's a smart player. You know
fearless.
what I mean?
Absolutely fearless.
Yeah. Seeing her like against the, I think I did in the show game or Nipmunk. I think it was Nipmunk. Having her running around there, running around and, hey, guarding the bigger players, and she had no fear, and that's what you love as a coach. You love to have players that way,
completely
that have ice in their veins and are ready to play against whoever. Yeah, like that's the mentality you should always have as a player. You want to play against the best. You you don't want to shy away from it because all it does is get you better when
Right.
it comes down to it.
It'll work itself out, man. I just want to see him run and gun. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, you want them to go old school oil and Marymount on him, huh?
Let's go. I keep telling him that, but
shoot with 20 seconds left on the shot clock, huh?
I mean, take timeouts, use them all. But Grace O'Gara, if it wasn't for that, she would be averaging 40 points a game this year, no doubt. And
Yeah,
to me,
I mean, you always want to be careful. I know he's trying to keep in mind too. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
right.
You know, you don't want to have a player get injured and unnecessary time. And I know he's trying to keep track of that. And
Yeah.
you know, they know the end goal is more than just the regular season. And
Also true. You're right.
You know, so they're just trying to you know, get through the season, get healthy, and then once the playoffs come, you know, full speed ahead.
I love it.
It's gonna be fun to watch, you know, to see you know, because there's some local teams that are doing good, like Notre Dame and South, and you know, I'm curious to see how that season kind of entails into the postseason and where they're gonna play. You know, it's just weird not having districts anymore because I always felt now that you change it, you're gonna have, because I've heard some of the stories of like, now you're gonna have a team from like Narragansett playing all the way in like, you know, northwest Massachusetts. And
we just talked about this on the last one with the coaches about, you know, the MIAA and all that, and like what happened to South High. South High played Duxbury. It was like a 2-hour ride, dude.
Yeah,
and it was not nice. We were talking about it. It was, I mean, there's something.
I just think it's easier just to play in districts or make it like you had it before. Like okay, you have a north, a south, east, and west, and then do it like the NCAA tournament. You know what I mean? I feel like that would be easier instead of having these ridiculous drives like halfway across Massachusetts.
All four high coaches just said that same exact thing on the last podcast that we did. It doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah, I just think it, you know, or if you're going to have a central area, I don't know. But then again, like I said, it's out of my pay grade, so.
Yeah, I hear you, man. You know? I hear you.
There are people higher than me making those decisions. And
I hear that.
You know?
I definitely hear that. But it'll be fun to see, man. Look, thank you for coming through tonight. Great.
Oh, no, man, thank you, man. This was fun, man.
We will do it again. I talked to Kareem. I would love to get all you guys together, bullshit again, you know?
All right, man.
We'll definitely do it. Like I said, I appreciate you coming through. Bro, thank you for being nice to me at Holy Name, and none of those other clowns were, you know what I'm saying?
No, thank you for having me, and I appreciate it. Yo, continued success, man, and keep doing what you're doing, man, and, you know, giving that love to like I said, it's cool to see somebody represent the 508 and local sports, girls, guys, you know, showing love for them, and, you know, old school people like myself.
Old school is right, man. I love it.
You know, listen, as you can see by these gray hairs now, all of my beard.
You're looking like Uncle Rodney these days. That's what I'm talking about.
Call me OG Rodney now, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, listen, good luck to you too, man. I know. Okay, you'll be announcing the big games. Like, I see you at pro level. There's no way.
Hey, that'll be cool.
I see you there.
That'll be cool. That'll be. If I get a chance, man, that'll be a blessing in disguise, man. So I'm just gonna continue what I do, and if it happens, great. If not, hey, you know, I'm still gonna do the things that I love around here, and
that's what I'm talking about, man. It's not work if you do what you love, right?
No, it isn't, man. It's been an absolute blast, man. It's been it's just weird how things, you know, come about. You know, it took some time to get other opportunities to come in and you know, chip my way through, and you're like, hey, if you need somebody to come off the bench, I don't mind. And to have the opportunities that I'm getting now, man, it's very humbling and very grateful to have, honestly.
Phenomenal, man. Well, listen,
yeah, man.
Shamrock Sports loves you. We will be at Bravehearts games this year. My buddy LJ Keevan is my buddy's son.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so we'll be out a few of those games. That kid's going to be a big deal too. Believe that.
All right, man. Hey.
So would love hearing you say his name. That's for sure, brother. And,
best believe, man. Best believe.
I'll be in touch with all these other guys too. We're gonna get Kareem and Eddie on it, man.
Hey, I'm down to come on down, man. We can talk more about the crazy practices.
You know it. Hey, much love, my man. Have a great night.